Okay, I came across a professional feminists channel. she's going to be professional for us because she's a professional. She is Betty Gillette or Beatty Gillette or something, the growth architect and founder of the Women's Code. Why we should promote gender equality and empowerment for women. Let's hear what Betty has to say.
This is a video in response to a viewer comment that says, Beate, what is your ideal world?
Oh, Beate, my apologies. Sorry, Beate.
So here's my ideal world. When I look at the world of equality, which is the business that I'm in.
She's in the business of equality, guys. This is how she makes her living.
I see that there is a workplace that was built by men for men that had to work for men. Men did a great job.
Yeah, we built it mainly for women and our children to keep them protected, warm and safe.
But men are only 50% of the American population, actually 49%. You're the minority people.
That's right.
And women are the majority.
And you still couldn't manage to elect Hillary Clinton. That's hilarious.
But because it's a system that was built by men for men,
yeah,
we're sort of like missing the other 51%.
Missing, you mean women don't work? Women aren't allowed to go to college? Missing, what does that mean? Women are missing out on buying their own cars and their own houses? What kind of a bubble do you live in? Do you understand that this is not 1940, right, Beate?
So, in my ideal world, we are now building the other 51%. It's just an addition. It's a simple expansion of a system that has worked really well for men, and now we're going to make sure it works for women.
Well, what about the system doesn't work for women? What exactly? Do you have specific details? Because I don't know. Everywhere I go, I see women with their jobs and their careers and their cars and their houses and some of them even get married. I know.
But how does this system really work? Well, it works, number one, by identifying core issue in the Women's Code. It is looking for what's equal.
It's a good thing, Betty, that women in the West have that, isn't it?
It's number one objection. It's like, but men have done so much more. Men have done this. Men have done this. Women just haven't. Yeah, you know what, people, because we haven't had the same opportunities.
Well, for the last 30, 40 years, you most certainly have. Again, are you living in the past? Or do you have selective memory? Because every one of the dentists I've had in the last 10, 15, 20 years, most of my doctors, most of the professionals I dealt with are women. So I'm surprised that you're saying women don't have these opportunities. What exactly are you getting at? You mean like the CEO and the Senate and stuff like that? Is that what you're saying? You don't really say that.
So once we have the same opportunities...
You have the same opportunities as men to go out and work your ass off to become a CEO. No one hands people CEO positions. Do you understand that there are only 500 Fortune 500 company CEOs in the entire freaking country? You do understand it is the tiniest of minorities, right?
It will balance itself out. So it's about, pushing up the women's side of it,
yeah,
so that we create these opportunities.
Only for women. Isn't that discrimination?
And then we are going to connect that with the male side of things, and then we're removing the labels.
Okay, removing the labels, I think what she's getting at, and she doesn't say it, but I haven't watched her other videos. I think what she's saying is that jobs that are normally considered male, remove that label and let women do those jobs. And jobs that are normally considered female, remove the label, let men do those jobs. So if a woman wants to be a longshoreman or a tuna fisherman, tuna fisher woman, I'm so sexist. I know, I'm sorry. If a woman wants to be a coal miner, woman wants to be a trash collector, she can do that. As a matter of fact, Betty, women could do those jobs right now. Right now, if they wanted them. You know what? Women are pretty smart. They don't want to do those jobs. Why don't you give credit where credit is due? Women want nice jobs, and I don't blame them.
Because the label removal of what's male and what's female needs to be taken out at one point, because guess what? I know men who are not, strategic, hardcore, logical, straight guys. I know men who are very compassionate, very empathetic. So why not allow them to also, move freely in a system and find what works for them in a much larger overall, not so perceived male-centric environment.
What you're saying is most of the men you know are logical, go-getter, hard-hitter, and all that stuff. And you know a few that are empathetic, maybe artists, or they don't want to be in the corporate game. You know, I don't blame them. The second part would be, what is stopping those men from doing what they want to do with their lives? Is it the patriarchy?
And then on the women's side, we are now building these values of empathy, compassion, community, perceived, you know, maybe soft or more female-driven attributes, because we now understand that these attributes are also helpful in the workplace. They make, you know, they give really better results.
Citation needed.
And now we're also allowing women to be maybe sort of more on leading on perceived masculine traits, because not all women are feminine like that, or not all women are empathetic, or not all women are compassionate. Some very strategic and logical women out there.
But most of them are feminine, empathetic, and compassionate, right? Most of them.
So in my ideal world, we identify at every moment of our lives, what is the equivalent?
What is the equivalent? Equality, yes. Yes, I'm for equality.
Not just the equivalent for women, but the equivalent in a situation.
You see, but you have equality already. You have equality of opportunity. I think really what you're going for here, Betty, you want equality of outcome. Isn't that right?
Because people get bent out of shape when it's not the same.
Feminists get bent out of shape.
Equality is not the same. Equality is what is equal. And I'm keep making this point until everybody agrees with me.
Equality is equal outcome. Is that what you're going to get at?
That just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
My ideal world also is, you know, as I said, removed all these labels. So
remove those labels, Betty. Remove those labels.
That we can really be seen as people.
Yeah, we can all be seen as just peoples. Anybody can do whatever job they want to. Funny, you know, Betty, maybe you've been like, who was the guy that went to sleep for so many years and woke up? Maybe you've been napping for the last 50 years. Is that really?
And in my ideal world, men wouldn't be so bloody threatened all the time.
We're not. Nobody is trying to take our steel mill jobs. No female is going to take one of those.
Of these, you know, of these perceptions of angry feminists. I mean, I am a feminist. I mean, every woman is a feminist. If you don't think you're a feminist, you're an idiot.
Removing labels, treating people like people. But if you're not a feminist, you are...
You're an idiot.
Well, that doesn't sound very nice, Betty. That doesn't sound very nice at all.
Because without feminism, you wouldn't have a job, okay? So let's honor that original meaning of the word feminism. But am I angry? I'm not angry at all. Actually, I'm very future-oriented.
You know who helped win World War II? Women. Women stepped up to the plate. They actually had jobs. They were building tanks, airplanes, guns, bombs. They put the material together so that the men who were fighting the war could win. Women have been working forever. So to sit there and say before feminism, women didn't work, didn't have jobs? My God, woman, you are something.
So in my ideal world, we look at people as people.
Unless you're not a feminist. Then, ladies, then you're an idiot. That's what this woman thinks about you if you're not a feminist. You are an idiot. Think about that. She's not the only feminist that believes that. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.